So as we all know, iOS 7 was a major release, and they completely revamped the UI. So first, when we look at our app icons, so we're going to talk about app icons a lot. First, let me discuss under visual design what I'm going to cover. So I'm going to cover app icons, size of the status bar, the navigation bar, the table views, iconography, and finally typography. App icons. So as I told you, there was a massive change in the UI, and Apple completely changed the way the iOS looked. So in iOS 7, you could see the icons are totally different. They are they are more in depth. They're color balanced well. There's a lot of clarity in the icons, and the icons are slightly larger than the previous version of iOS 6. Now, what Apple has done is they have introduced a grid system. Now, the grid system is a visual layout which Apple has designed to place the visual elements or the visual assets that are being part of an icon so that they look perfect, or they look more clear, or they tell what your app is all about. So Apple feels that it gives the designers a visual layout or visual template to put all their visual assets that's a part of an icon and make a really good icon. So that's all about this grid. And another thing about this grid is all dimensions are based on golden proportion. And the simple old radii values are being removed in this. Next, moving on to status bar. As we could see, the status bar, the height of the status bar or the size of the status bar is same as iOS 6. But the thing that we need to note is the appearance is slightly changed. Now you can control the background color to match the look of your app design, or you could use the default color themes, that's white or black. In a lot of default iOS 7 apps, the status bar is actually visually connected with the navigation bar without any separations. So that's all about the status bar. Now moving on to navigation bar. So navigation bar usually consists of a title, and you would find an action button. In this case, we have an edit. It could be create or it could be new, or even you would have a previous button on the left hand side. Now here we're going to talk about the height of the navigation bar in portrait mode. It's going to be 88 pixels, whereas to adjust more content, they have shrunk the navigation bar in landscape mode to 64 pixels. So that's a change in the navigation bar in iOS 7. Next is the table view. Now table view is a full width of display and not any longer surrounded by a container that separates the table from each other. Now only the visual separation between the table views are headlines which appear on the top of the table, as you know, as the previous iOS 6. But each cell has got a cell height of 88 pixels, and the inner padding of a cell is 30 pixels, both left and right. And the line which divides each cell is going to be of 1 pixel thickness. So these are actually the default informations that is with respect to the table view cell. Now let's move on to iconography. Now Apple uses massively the icons, especially in their tab bar controllers, or you could actually see them in the tab bars. Now Apple has used this quite long ago. They've been using outlines which is of 1 pixel length for the icons. Now there are two states here. Either they're activated or not activated. They use inverted colors here, and they're using tint colors. So now in this case I'm showing you alarm which is of red color, that is activated, so it just fills with a solid color, and which is not activated would be just you would get an outline. So this is with respect to the icon. Now coming to typography, Apple has used Helvetica New before at greater widths, including iOS 6, and it was one of Steve Jobs' favorite fonts. It's still the default font in iOS. In one of the previous iOS beta, actually when iOS 7 was launched, they used Helvetica New Lite, but then in the later beta they changed it to Helvetica New Regular. So that's about the typography. Now, so whenever a new iOS version is released, usually there will be some enhancements, at the same time there will be some deprecations. So let's see what are the enhancements that are there and deprecations that are there.